Now, your question, Constantine, about the Nadi Shodhana, what does it mean of purifying the Nadi? The Nadi as such in Sanskrit doesn't mean nerves, it means the flow. Flow. The flow of energy which is running in our body. So the yoga scripture says that there are more than 250,000 energy flows in our body, out of which 16,000 are the prominent one, out of which the 10 are very important one, and if I zero it down to a smaller number, then it is the 3, the Ida, the Pingala and Sushumna. Sushumna is like kind of blocked and locked at the moment. Ida and Pingala is, we can say, in a way, functioning without the knowledge of the individuals in everybody, but a yogi goes deeper into the mind and then uses that pure attention of the mind and the ekagrata, what we say, that's like 100%, not by knots. It's a premium level of ekagrata, concentration is first created, and the yogi uses that concentration to look for the source of these flows. So, if I have to answer for sake of answer, then the Muladhara chakra, this is in the base of the spine, in the coccyx region, anatomically if I have to say, from the coccyx region, there are this subtle junction of energy field. So from here, these two are rising up, and it is conversing in the whole spine along with the spine cord, not the spine, but the spinal cord. So left and right of the spinal cord is these two flows which are happening. And they reach up to the mid-eyebrow, the Agya chakra, which is actually very deep. Just we can say this is the area of the Agya chakra. It is not the Agya chakra. Many people foolishly are pointing their fingers over here and thinking we are touching our Agya chakra. It's not like that. Our spinal cord, the column, is going all the way up to the skull. So deep inside, where it is ending, at the top of that, if we use a needle and pierce it from here, and almost in the mid of the brain is that point where the Agya chakra is. Chakra means the vortex of energy. So the Ida Pingala is rising from the Muladhara all the way to the Agya. And when it is rising above, the natural course is there are other junctions in our system, in a subtle body. So Muladhara, then Swadhisthana, the Manipurka, Anahata, Vishuddhi, Agya. And it's like the energy is rising at Swadhisthana, it changes its course from left to right, and then it moves up, left to right, moves up, left to right, then left to right. And here is the point from where it begins to descend down. Right? So actually, yogi is one who understands and is familiar with these flows. It has nothing to do with your breathing. Those people who think that I am breathing through left and exhaling through right, so I am doing something with the Ida and the Pingala, that's not true. It's just it's not the breath which is the focus. It is the cosmic pranic energy which is in the breath. Breath is the packet and prana is that energy which is in that. So you do start with the breath, but you have to move from the packet of the breath into the pranic force, which we are calling Ida and Pingala. Now it's a very subtle exercise. So it is required that a person who wishes to go deeper into these yogic experiences should have mastered at least 84 asanas. And the physical body is purified with the Hatha Yoga Kriyas. Noli, Dhoti, Trataka, Kunjal, and 3 more. So with those purification procedures, diet is to be managed very nicely and beautifully. Easy to digest, sattvic, light, pure food, which is to be consumed. And asana practice morning and evening, sitting down for 2 hours and 25 minutes, at least thrice a day, to master your breathing patterns. Now, as such, when people are doing the Nadi Shodhana, the alternate breathing, they use the Hasta Mudra, the hand posture, using the thumb to close the one nostril, using the third and the fourth finger to open and close the other nostril. And the second finger goes onto the mid-eyebrow, and the first finger just conjoins with the second finger. And when people do this, now that's a very childish way, but that is how you begin. Until you have mastered it that without using your hand posture, the hand mudra, you can close and open your breathing cycle, meaning without using the thumb, you can close the right nostril, flow of the air, and without touching the third, fourth finger onto your left nostril, you can open and close it by sheer will. If one is unable to do that, then one should know you are still in the kindergarten class of the yoga. People are lazy, people want quick fixes like instant coffees. So all these people who are teaching and learning these 200, 400, 600 hours of yoga, and they say, okay, this is Nadi Shodhana. People are very happy, teachers are happy, students are happy. But if I go from the spirit of the yoga, that's not how the things have to be approached. So mastering the physical body, purifying it. You see, if there is too much phlegm in your stomach, if there is too much phlegm in your alveoli, in your lungs region, if there is too much of phlegm in your large intestine, or if you have too much of pitta, the fire in either part of the body, or your wind, the vata, is vitiated in your body, you cannot be called to have a yogi body. A yogi body is the body where the vata, pitta, kapha, the 3 humors are an absolute beautiful balance. And that balance will not happen until and unless a very sincere and disciplined practice is done. So that's why Swami Purnanand was talking about purifying the nadi. But you cannot purify the nadi until you have purified the vessel which is carrying these. So the gross body, the 5 elemental body, this, and the subtle body. Subtle body means your mind, your subconscious, your 5 senses of knowledge, action, and the 5 pranas. So all together, these have to be in a perfect balance. So it's a very dedicated practice. And as one will grow into it, the results will be so beautiful. And then person's ability to understand the basic, the cosmic energy or the prana becomes possible. And that is when the real Nadi Shodhana begins to happen, where you are understanding the source of the flow and where it is flowing and how it is flowing. And when the Ida and the Pingala, this solar and the lunar energies, the flows are in total balance, that is the point where the chakra gets activated and the Sushumna opens. And when the Sushumna opens and the prana begins to travel in that, and as it reaches to this focal point of the mid-eyebrow, inside deep where the Agya chakra is, that is where the yogi will experience the total absorption. The deepest state of Samadhi will be experienced then. So because people are not very enthusiastic to go into such deeper practices, hence everybody is happy in just brushing it off on the surface of a stuff and not going deeper into it. But this, what I am saying, this practice demands total dedication. This practice demands a disciplined life, and if one follows all this together nicely, the experience will be mind-boggling. So like trataka is a very purifying activity, shuddhi kriya. If somebody can master the trataka, what would happen is that, like with your open eyes, you see this real, so-called real, vivid world, a yogi begins to see whether his Ishtadevata or his or her guru as vivid, as real, as clear in the closed eyes, at the seat of the Agya chakra. Your forehead becomes the screen, and over here, this is called the divine darshan. The divine darshan. Meera has talked about seeing Krishna. Yogi Machendranath, Yogi Gorakhnath, and so many yogis have talked about how they had this divine darshan, the vision of their master, and had the vision of darshan of Shiva or darshan of Parvati. So if they begin to do, see, the idol worshipping is actually not a gross ritual alone. The external murti, the idol, is used to create that level of purity and concentration in the mind, that this external idol for the yogi converts into a real-time, alive darshan. So externally it is just a stone artifact, you can say, or a beautiful statue which is there. But while performing the external puja, the offerings, the concentration is being harnessed so beautifully, and the tratak's zenith is that particular deity or guru or Shiva or whosoever is the Ishta, the chosen deity for you, kind of appears in your mind. And the one who has had this vision, this darshan, that is such a beautiful, mind-boggling, exhilarating experience, that the whole world loses its charm and attraction after that. Then one doesn't have to do a very conscious effort to disengage the mind from the world and do something to achieve the dispassion, the vairagya. For such yogi whose trataka is now perfect, have risen above the boundaries of this gross visible world. So I am giving you one just example of one who has mastered just one kriya, one purification procedure can give such beautiful result. So what to say about the other methods which are there? Because people lack, they don't have time. They are busy in earning, livelihood, family is taking most of the time. But I know of some true practitioners, very much married, but they don't go crazy after money or stuff. But of course they are working. But the dedication to do their practice is so beautiful that while being very much in the world, they are experiencing great things happening to them. And for sure, it is a very mysterious and very beautiful path. And there you understand the power which your mind has and the power of a concentrated mind. Patanjali Yoga Sutra, in the 3rd chapter, in the Vibhuti Yoga, is talking about all those supra powers which a yogi begins to achieve. Well, doesn't want to exhibit and show it off to. Because if you have the exhibiting streak in you, or you want to show off or brag about it, or show other people that how great you are, well, you will lose everything. That's why Patanjali says in the last verses that a true yogi will never get moved to attain these kind of powers, but these powers may come to you if you are practicing, even if you don't wish to use it or exhibit it. But a yogi should not be attached to such. But why is he then talking about it? He is talking about because this becomes like a parameter for you to know where you are standing on the yogic path. See, you are seeing this flower in my hand. It's a beautiful flower. But just imagine that the power of your trataka can be so much so that in closed eyes you see this, but so luminous, so alive, so wonderment. And the beauty of these inner experiences is incomparable to any worldly experience. It seems to be too small in front of that. So a yogi is one who is so consumed and absorbed in the practices, and the mind is so satiated and contented that there is no room left for any other stuff. But these things are only possible when you have 100% dedication and you practice what the Guru is asking you to do. And time to time, whenever there are some hindrances or obstructions in the path, you seek guidance of the Master so that you can come out of that and be very firm and decisively on your path. So the Nadi Shodhana, which generally is being taught even here in the ashram, is just the kindergarten one. It's just the beginning. But for sure, somebody has to start from somewhere. So you start from the physical part of it. But the prana is to be understood by experience. I can talk hundreds of hours on the subject, and yet it won't be your experience. It won't translate in your experience just because I'm talking about it. So yoga is not something about which you talk or lecture. Yoga is something which you practice. These are practicing sutras. Yeah, Vedanta is something which you need to listen. What will you practice? It's just about understanding. It's a very different game ball. It's a very different. Yoga is all practice. So you don't become a yogi. There is this beautiful shloka which says you don't become a yogi by wearing a loincloth. You don't become a yogi by wearing a bhasma on your forehead. You don't become a yogi by talking about it. You don't become a yogi by reading scriptures. You become a yogi when you practice. So don't talk, practice. That's the key. But those who don't practice will fail on the yoga path, and for sure they will fail in the Vedanta also. Because Vedanta will give you such big words, and you will cram up those words and repeat those words and show it off to people. Oh, now I am Jnani, without becoming one. But in yoga, you can't do that also, because you have to have that substance. Yeah? That practice, that sadhana, which will give you those experiences. And also it is a warning which is given in the yoga scriptures, like in Hatha Yoga Pradipika, that do not share your experiences with one and all. If you have to, then just tell your guru, nobody else. Because your mind might go into an ego trip while telling what happened to you. And then you might block all your progress just because of your egocentric behavior. But the more one begins to go deeper into the practices, the probability of going into yoga's depth is possible then, very much possible.